My name is Stuart Wheeler. I work for Keynetics, and I'm here today to talk to you about our products and services which are helping to transform keyholding in the commercial security market. First of all, let's talk about the commercial security market and traditional keyholding. It's been going since, well, the Middle Ages, really, if you can imagine. A storeroom with keys, a knight in armour, moving from building to building with a big set of keys, opening doors, closing doors, portcullises, the lot, and then moving back and storing the keys in a guard room. Amazing to think that we're in the modern world with all the modern technology we have, and yet still this is how traditional key holding is conducted. What do we have? We have issues with it, with time and operations. Time, because the key must be collected. It's going to be collected by somebody either in security or a contractor. Many times they have to go to a location to collect this key, go to the location to use the key, then go back to the location to hand the key back, wasting time, money, and carbon footprint. Also, many times it is in key holding vans, chugging around locations like the M25, discharging carbon, expensive, and not time efficient. Another major issue is response times. We're in the world now where we all want everything just like that, and quite effective it is too. But with key holding, sometimes people can be waiting up to 2, 3, even 4 hours for somebody to get to a location due to the fact that either keys are in the wrong location or they're too far away to be able to reach in an emergency situation. Delayed response is something that all organizations are looking at and trying to improve. On top of that, security of the operation, obviously secure rooms, the cost of secure rooms, but also the large volumes of keys create havoc at times to get the correct key to the correct location. On top of that, of course, you've also got costs. We've talked about it just earlier before, but key room management is expensive. It's a people business, it's a location business, it's a security business. All those three things cost money. Patrols, again, people intensive, vehicle intensive, special patrol vehicles that have to be to a security standard to store keys. They are heavy in weight, they are expensive on fuel and wear and tear. And of course, lost keys not only have the replacement of the loss of the key, but the loss of the lock itself and the replacement of that lock. Very, very expensive. What sectors to key holding? I mean, it's one of the interesting questions we ask. I don't know if anybody listening to this has been on holiday to the Caribbean this year. I don't know if anybody listening to this has got a son, a daughter, or both. But I do know that everybody listening to this owns a key. The sectors we're in and the sectors that can benefit from our offering are banking, security services, void property, retail, commercial real estate, facilities management, automotive, community care, and more, to be honest. I mean, think about it. If you do start thinking about this, if you've got a key and you need that key to travel, how is that key being managed? How is that key traveling? Could it be more effective? We believe it can. And of course, what we're here to do is to try and transform the key holding model. Yeah. Why and how? Our keys are stored at the point of entry. This is really important. It's at the point of need. So therefore, if you want to gain access to a location, the key is where it needs to be. That improves response times. It means that you can send the nearest responder, the nearest person. You can grant access into our system with an app or with a code that allows access instantly, is traceable, and is also cancelable. This not only improves response times, it reduces carbon emissions, it reduces cost. And what it definitely means is no more missed visits. If somebody needs to gain access to a premises, if the key is at the point of need, then they can gain access as long as they're allowed to do so. Reduction in Key locks and changes. If the key's at the point of need, those days of losing a key, not knowing where the key's gone, not being able to track the key are gone. So therefore, all of those costs, changing keys, no need again. Lock changes, no need again. Other benefits of providing emergency access. So even though you might be the person that's usually going in and out, just imagine if you need to let the fire service, the police service, or a contractor gain access, a third-party contractor, you've got the ability to be able to provide a code which is time sensitive, which means it will let somebody in and out at a certain time and then will not be able to be used again. All of that is also auditable and traceable. So you know that the security of your premises is 100% secure and traceable. Again, very, very important, knowing that the key's always there. Key detection is part of our product and service. So if somebody has a key, enters the premises, leaves the premises and does not put back the key, you know they've not put back the key. They know they've not put back the key. Alerts go to highlight they've not put back the key. And guess what? They put back the key. So which applications could this be used for? Well, it's all about quick access, isn't it? And loads of different scenarios. So we have our product and services in all of these different applications. Alarm response, obviously, it's one of the major ones, isn't it? An alarm goes off on your premises. You want somebody there pretty damn quick. And that's what our system is used for. The nearest person can be used to respond to the alarm. The key is there. They can gain access. They can do a check to see if anything has happened to the location. Plant and data room access control, of course, very, very important, very, very secure locations. You want to know who's gaining access to these locations. You want to know why somebody's gained access to those locations. You want to have a timestamp to make sure you've got that. Certain people in certain locations at a time they shouldn't be. Why? Well, our product is used to identify that. Out of hours deliveries, again, very, very important in big city sites like London, Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, and whatever, where, you know, retailers can't have deliveries at certain times. The old method, pay people to wait in the early morning or late evening, pay people to offload from lorries, no longer is needed. Use our product. The delivery driver can use our product to drop the product in a secure location. It's recorded the delivery has been dropped, and people can look at the product when they get to work the next day. Lock and unlock services. Opportunities here abound. The current lock and unlock model, think about it. Somebody travels to a location, unlocks a premises, travels back. End of the day, they travel to location, lock the premises, travels back. Imagine being able to take that service yourself and lock and unlock when you arrive at the premises and when you leave the premises at night. Insurance checks, absolutely, really, really important for things in any location. But again, for instance, consider tower blocks where they have to have lift working, lift shafts, plant rooms inspected. All of these things where usually you'd send one person to meet somebody to confirm the work had been done and to grant access. Now you can half that personnel usage with one person gaining access, knowing that they've gained access, knowing how long they've been there and confirming when they've left. We've already covered emergency services, but it's so important to mention again, imagine a situation where you can let an ambulance person, a fire person, or a police person into your business if needed in an emergency. Your teams, office and store staff. Just imagine if you're a retail business, and these are actual situations that we encounter, a retail business where the manager is late for work for some reason and can't open up the store or the branch. Ability to be able to grant access to staff to open the branch so that your customers aren't left waiting outside in the rain. Security and patrol services, obviously patrol large areas using our product. You can have boxes of different locations. The fact that you can actually record when one location has been visited, another location has been visited, and plot your route. Cleaning services, thousands of cleaners use our services in different businesses, in facilities management across the UK and Europe. The ability to then, in the old days, keys were handed from one cleaner to another cleaner, sometimes out of the office, sometimes wasting their time having to go and meet one another. Keys get lost, usage isn't recorded. Now all cleaning services can be recorded. And of course, if you're paying on a cleaning contract for an hour an evening in your property, you know that cleaning is taking place for an hour an evening in your property because it's date stamped and time stamped. And finally, reactive maintenance. So many situations where, I don't know, maybe a pipe has burst, electricity isn't working properly, out of hours, you can send reactive maintenance to be able to go and work within your business. Reducing carbon emissions has become very, very important to us all. And just look at the highest temperatures ever recorded in the world in this last year. Yeah, all scientists say they just don't know what they're going to do about it, apart from one thing we must do about it, and that is reduce our carbon emissions. Of course, our product helps you to be able to do this. You can cut travel time with it, increase productivity, reduce vehicle wear and tear, and obviously decrease your fuel costs. But how does that work? Obviously, let's look at this graphic. With traditional key holding, we know what it's like. Starting point, key storage, point of access. It's multiple journeys to and from. If the key is at the point of need, it's one journey. It doesn't need to be go and get the key, go to a location, go back with the key. You've got it there. It makes sense. You could have up to a 50% reduction in your carbon footprint. Of course, what's important isn't just what I say and what we say about our wonderful products and services. It's about what our customers have found when using this. And here is our track record. Based on real customer feedback, what can we tell you? Well, we've had a 60% improvement in response times. A particular banking client of ours reduced alarm response times from over 2 hours to an average of 45 minutes. Reduction in CO2 emissions. Again, a public sector client of ours managed to reduce their CO2 emissions across 280 sites, by 784 tons per year. And finally, a reduction in missed visits. We had an FM client that was having to pay if somebody went to a location and found they couldn't gain access due to the fact the wrong key was given or the key or access wasn't able to be granted because somebody couldn't meet them. They were paying a £90 missed visit fee. Okay, and they reduced their missed visits by 90% by having the key there. And of course, there can't be even any fraudulent claims for the key not being there because they know the key's there and they know when the person gained access and how long they used it for. So, summing up, our solution, it's the only commercial graded key safe on the market. That means it's the most secure key safe. It means that if you've got a retail, bank or office front door or window, our box is more secure. It's easier to break the window, the lock or the door of that commercial premises than it is to get into one of our boxes. Our platform can grant and revoke access in minutes for multiple properties and will enable you to run audit reports. And our application on the phone grants access for approved users and allows you to also upload data, photographs, and the like. Thank you for your time. I hope you found what I've said interesting and maybe useful. And please get in contact if you'd like to find out more. The details below. Thank you.
So welcome everybody to our exclusive sponsor session with Keynetics on the key management revolution. And I'm joined here by Stuart Wheeler. So thank you, Stuart, so much for joining us. You spoke about a very interesting topic, actually, and quite a relatable one. When I first started my career, I actually started off as an industrial cleaner. So I worked on building sites and offices. So the horror stories I could tell, honestly. But one thing that actually kind of stuck out to me was that awkwardness of transferring keys between staff, between, businesses. There's always something that was always so complicated, and we had to, we had this tick log every single day. Have you got all these keys? So it was a huge issue at the time. So it's quite interesting to see actually how that's transitioned over, the recent 10, 15 years or so. So yeah, thank you for that. Just to start us off, do you think you'd be able to give us a little introduction into the history and heritage of Keynetics? And I suppose the journey of how you've got to where you are today.
Yeah, thank you, Rebecca. And it's always nice when people can give that kind of personal touch of they've experienced a situation with key management. And I think we've all got those stories everywhere. Yes, our business, we are a wholly owned subsidiary of an American technology company in the USA, a company called SentryLock. They've been going for over 23 years, making product and software for the storage and holding of keys. We've been going here in the United Kingdom for about 7 years now. And it's been a really interesting journey because, as I said in my presentation, keyholding has been the same for hundreds and hundreds of years, but people realize, hang on, we've got technology now. Surely there must be something we can do better with this. And certainly we've been accepted. We've got banking clients, retail clients, security clients, very big in the vacant void property space. People are realizing, a little bit like you did on your own personal journey, those logging and logbooks of keys going in and out and moving and losing keys. They need something different, and they're taking to our products and to our services and taking them and adopting them into their own systems. And it's gone very, very well. Thank you.
And I suppose also, that gone is that time where everything relied on trust. Like, and it's great to be able to trust people. Don't get me wrong, having a trust in society, fantastic. But unfortunately, that, opens you up to risk and vulnerability as well. So, and you never know who you get when you have so many different third parties and different companies, kind of like you said, the cleaners, the out of office, the dark delivery drivers, all of these different people getting involved. So it's definitely something that has to be secure at the end of the day, because that's your asset that you're trusting somebody to look after. So I suppose the biggest question to start with is what are the challenges of point of entry key management?
Well, as you've just highlighted there, Rebecca, the world now wants verification. We all do. I mean, we're so impatient, aren't we? We'll send a message, and if we don't see those two ticks that come up immediately, right? And if they're not blue, well, what is it? Have they gone off me? What's going on? Yeah. And we want that even in our business. We want verification. We want the two ticks, so to speak. Yeah. The other thing is we're a world now that knows we've got data, and they want that data. So it's about verification and the benefit that data can bring. So just from the point of view of even improving services, for instance, ultimately, you want to verify, for instance, that the key's there. One of the things in the security industry, which I'm sure you're aware, and certainly those that are watching and listening to this will be aware, is the auditability of systems. Okay, and it costs immense time and money to be able to audit keys in the traditional method and to account for keys. With our system, it's got a system that records the keys in the box. You know where it is. You know it's in the location. The time and money alone that saves in auditing your key estate is massive. On top of that is having that data. The data richness of our platform allows the users and the organizations and the clients we've got to look at it and then make improvements. Is there a need for somebody to be delivering something at a certain time? What is the benefit of that delivery? Is there a need for certain numbers of people with it, or can we reduce the certain numbers of people and get one person delivering a number of services at the same sort of time? It is all of that data rich and verification of services that is helping transform the key holding market at the moment.
And I think you're right. I think it is the age old story of that you can't find your keys. Everyone's
Yeah.
experienced it, whether it's a professional or a personal environment. And actually, on a personal note, I have a friend who has a tracker, a GPS tracker on his keys.
Oh, yes.
Sound an
Yeah.
alarm to his phone because he's somebody that
Yeah.
would lose his head if it wasn't attached to his neck. So he often, whenever time they come and stay around, he has to beep it from one of the devices to find his phone or find his keys. So it's definitely a challenge there that every single person, I think, like you said, everyone has a key and everyone can relate to that same challenge. So it's great that we're actually tackling something that is been kind of long standing, for many, many years. And you also mentioned that obviously to access a code, there are two different ways to do it, via Apple or via the code. And obviously mobile credentials are a huge trend when it comes to user friendliness. So could you just talk us through a little bit the two different ways to access that?
Of course. So you can access our box or key safe, whatever you want to call it, in one of two ways. The preferred way is obviously through the app, which uses just Bluetooth. So you don't need any other connectivity. It uses the Bluetooth of your device to the box. Because one of the questions we sometimes get asked is, oh, do we need connections to the internet? What happens if that drops out? No need to worry. It's a Bluetooth connectivity. So we have boxes that are in storage depots underground. It still works. It still records the data. But the app, of course, is the preference because one, the app does so many other clever things, by the way. It can do things like take photographs, upload data. It can also even let you know what location you're in, let you know what other boxes are near you, and a whole load of clever things. But of course, what the app really does is by using, if for instance, we're talking about a device, let's just talk about a phone, it adds those extra layers of security. So it uses face recognition, if that's what you want to use, biotechnology, if that's what you want to use, the fact that it actually recognizes, yes, this is the right person. It can then give you a location of where you actually are at and verifies that you've gained access to those particular keys and locations when you put the keys back. So it's almost a safety device as well as ability to gain keys. On the flip side of that, we also recognize that there are times when people need a code, when people won't want to download an app for doing just individual visits or to get into somewhere in a case of an emergency. And again, we mentioned this in the presentation. We have situations where we've got one particular large retailer uses our product across their estate. And sometimes they have the police called, and believe it or not, we'll give the police the code to get into the building to go and see if the disturbance has gone into one of their superstores because they don't want the police knocking down the front of the shop and knocking down the door. And so its ability then to be able to give a code and they can gain access. So codes can be given and granted. They can be provided either over the telephone if you're speaking to somebody, but also it will be sent as an SMS message or an email to a location if somebody needs that. And actually, you can also tell the location of where the box is to be located on the property.
Oh, fantastic. And just to move on slightly as well, you also spoke about key detection, and that was something that was quite a key, if you pardon, a key point of your presentation. How quickly and who do the alerts go to when somebody doesn't put a key back in its correct place?
Well, it's unique, to be honest with you, in our product set. So it really is something we're quite proud of. It goes instantly. So what will happen is as soon as a key is removed from a box, two things happen. The first thing is obviously the box knows that the key's been taken. And then on the app of the person using it, it will let them know, not that they don't know, but it will anyway, from a visual point of view, you've got the key. Yeah, we know you've got the key. And so you could go about your duties, do whatever you're doing. Let's just imagine either you're cleaning somewhere for an hour or you're doing a circuit to check a premises out. Yeah, when you finish that, you put the key back in the box and it will confirm when you shut the box if you've put the key back. If you haven't, it will tell you there and then on the app you've not put the key back. What it'll also do is it will also tell you if you don't put the key back within a certain period of time, let's say an hour, we will now send an alert via email and or SMS to a location to let the people know that's running this service on your behalf that you've not put the key back. The other clever thing it does, and it's quite funny, coincidentally, I was just doing a demonstration of somebody today, I forgot this myself. If you don't put the key back, you can't go to another box until you've confirmed that you either put the key back or that you've still got the key. And as I say, I was doing a demonstration. I'd forgotten that I'd not put the key back in the box. I tried to get into the box. I said, Stuart, you still haven't finished your visit. Can you please confirm you didn't put the key back, that you still got the key? I had to do that, and then it allowed me to conduct the next visit.
So it's protecting multi-sites as well, I think.
Absolutely about
So,
multi-site protection.
Worst case scenario, somebody was to steal this key and gain access. They've only got access to that one site. So
Absolutely.
that's great, and especially when it comes to kind of scalability. And just on, I suppose, in that similar point, you spoke briefly about dark deliveries, and this is a case in point. If somebody's making multiple deliveries to, let's say, 3 stores in one evening, we need to be able to protect all 3 of them. But have you seen this trend of dark deliveries, rising in recent years?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, since we had the COVID lockdowns, yeah, there's been a transformation. I think in everywhere. Let's be honest, in all work locations, there's been a transformation. People are now working from home more, and I think definitely from a point of view of dark deliveries, we've seen a lot of our clients that are using our product now to transform that. Instead of having, you mentioned, like, imagine 3 sites, and to be honest with you, a number of our clients, it's more than that. It's 5 or 6 sites at night, one location. Instead of 5 or 6 groups of people needing to be there to receive deliveries now, as long as they've got a location which is secure, they're a location where they can put one of our boxes, the driver can get to the location, uses the app to gain access. You can confirm, first of all, security of the driver. You know where the driver is, and I know they've got tracking devices in their vehicles as well, but you know that they've actually got out of their vehicle. They're there at the location. You know then when they've put the key back that the delivery has been conducted, secure location, and then instead of having the people work at all hours of the day and night, they can have people come in the morning to be able to then distribute the product that's been delivered. That's certainly what we're finding is happening, and certainly is working very well with our clients.
Definitely. And you mentioned that obviously this is appropriate for a whole number of different industry applications, and you listed quite a few of them. But what's your most popular, and what do you think this is?
The 2 most popular, to be honest with you, are probably banking and vacant void property. And the reasons for these are, one, banking is banks, one, rely on security, and ours is the most secure lockbox. It's more secure than the front door of a bank or the window of a bank. Okay, so first of all, anything you sell into the banking industry has to be secure. The second thing about banks, of course, is they're banks. So traditionally, they hold money. I know that starts to move away, but that's what it is. So if there is an alarm that goes off, they want a response like that. They are not happy about having to wait for the times that traditional key holding has given them. They want the fastest, most efficient response possible. They need to know if there's an issue. They need to be able to get people there and then. And so that is the reason that our product has become the go-to product for so many banks across the UK and in Europe. On the vacant void property space, again, we talk about kind of things that become a trend, and maybe not a positive trend, but still a trend, and that is there's more and more vagrancy, more and more situations where people are trying to gain access to vacant buildings at the moment. And if those buildings aren't secure, as we all know from the squatter laws and the vagrancy laws, it's very, very hard when people have gained access to a premises to remove them. On top of that, the damage that they can do. So this has become a very hot topic in the last couple of years, and all of the major vacant void property organizations in the United Kingdom use our product to store a key. So that allows them, again, to be able to secure locations with things like steels and fencing, but to have a key on the location so that they can go in quickly to do inspections and to inspect property if it is needed.
Definitely. And just lastly, before we part, are there any other trends that you're already combating, I suppose, that you see taking center stage in the near future, and that will potentially, I suppose, further transform key management?
Yeah, well, Rebecca, look, what do we all want? We all want keyless, don't we? Yeah, we see all the adverts at the moment, and there's a couple of cars out there that will do keyless at the moment. And we all believe, there's technology out there that does keyless entry. But of course, the problem is, one, it's not proven. And two, it's expensive. Especially with the fact that it's got to be really hooked into the electrics, especially when we're talking commercial, not particularly private residential, but with commercial, you need to be in a situation, of course, for fire regulations, that doors need to fail open if there was a fire. And how do you lock the security of a property with that, making sure that people, if there are people inside, they're safe, and if they're not, that the property is secure. Now, keyless entry will come, and I can tell you it will come because we're working on it as well, because we are a technology company. But we're a while away yet. So what our product does, it's the first step to keyless technology, because there are so many keys. You mentioned yourself, I don't know how many keys you've got, but you'll have more than one yourself personally. We all do. Absolutely. We've all got loads of them, Rebecca, and it's the same for businesses. And that can't just go away overnight, no matter what we do. Even if we chuck loads of money at it, the technology is not there. So we are working on keyless technology. That will be our next stage. But this is the middle step. This is about, right, so let's get the key where it needs to be, first of all, at the point of need, and get you using the technology. Yes, start using that app to gain access to get the key. And then we're in a situation where hopefully we can take that next step when the technology is available to be able to say, right, now we can try and go for keyless. And that's what we all want, isn't it, really? We want that, who knows, 200, 300 years, people won't even be using devices, will they? It's all going to be from the eyeball or whatever it is. It will be that. But we're trying to get there. And that's what's so great about working in technology. It's the innovation and it's the exciting opportunities that technology can bring.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better. And I suppose when it comes to keyless technology as well, there's a huge reliance there on like I said, internet. And you're
Yeah.
already innovating in that space by using Bluetooth. And when
Yes.
you say Bluetooth, we think of a fairly old technology, but actually in a world where there's so much latency, there's so many issues when it comes to connectivity, Bluetooth,
Yeah.
fantastic. You don't even think
Absolutely.
about that anymore. So so seeing where that's going to transform or how that's going to come into fruition is going to be definitely exciting to see, or for generations to see, I suppose.
Absolutely,
we'll see. No, thank you, Stuart, for talking to me today. I really appreciate it. And if anybody has any further questions or would like to find out more about Keynetics and their offering, please reach out to the Keynetics booth in the exhibitors section of the platform, or you can reach out to Stuart directly. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.